Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be here today, 5 years after the original launch of SHARP, where we had both deans with us and didn't have the president and the provost, but today we're very, very honored to have President Khouri with us. And I'd like to give you just a quick background of where we came from, where we are today, and then leave the floor for Dr. Nwayhid and Dr. Samia Khouri, and finally Dr. Fadlu Khouri before those certificates. So this started with a project 6-7 years ago where we thought there was a big potential to capacity build in NCD. Next, please. And this was made possible by a large grant from the NIH, $1.2 million over 5 years from Fogarty International. There was, of course, institutional support and support from both deans and the provost at the time it was submitted. There was also support from 2 banks who saw the value in a capacity building program, Banque Med and Banque Audi, in addition to present here with us Laboratoire Servier, who have a big interest in capacity building in clinical translation research. The first slide will illustrate, next please. Okay, where our faculty, where our trainees come from, it's largely from Lebanon, but we have few from Syria, Libya, Jordan, Palestine, and even a UK who was doing his master at AUB. We have reached this summer 124 summer trainee, and we have 11 master students enrolled with 3 more applicants this year. Okay, we were supposed not to have a timing, but of course, Murphy's Law. So I think I know it by heart. We've gradually grown over the last 5 years. We've roughly accepted 50% of the application based on competitiveness. This year, we have almost as much applicants as we did last year. We had 51 applications. We accepted 25 and finally enrolled 21. 4 had actually last-minute personal things, surgery, mentors wanting them in the States on time, so on and so forth. So we have 21 graduates this year. 18 are with us, and the last 3 are either doing their on-call on the floor or with family due to personal reasons. The next thing I want to just say about this is we're very proud that this summer is the first summer where SHARP summer is self-sustainable. All of you have co-paid a modest amount. The rest came from the institution, foregoing any profits, but letting the program run on its own income, which is extremely exciting. The next slide was going to show the wonderful summer faculty we have, and some of us are with us. I'm going to name them. In Biostat, we have Ziad Mahfouz, and we have Dr. Hani Tamim, as well as Soha Faris. In EPI, we have Dr. Abla Sbai, Dr. Monique Shaya, and Dr. Marlene Shakhtoura. In ethics, we have Talia Arawi, myself, Mona Nabulsi, May Al-Assar, and Dr. Rami Mahfouz, who's here with us. And large data sets, of course, we have Dr. Habib, where all the skills and the knowledge get culminated in a data set. We saw 5 wonderful project presentations. I have no doubt some of them are going to end up in presentations and in international meeting and papers. We have Layla Shahar, who helped with the data set too. Layla's doing her PhD at Harvard. So it's been a wonderful faculty, and they've all sacrificed some of their summer. Dr. Habib couldn't be with us. He's spending half of his summer vacation with us on data set and went back to the north this evening to greet his family farewell and go back to Chicago. And we're very grateful for all the faculty, including Dr. Habib, who received a small token of appreciation today. Last thing I had, unfortunately, how many publications we've had from SHARP trainees, and as of March, when I presented this in NIH, we had 219 publications directly related to SHARP skills or to the SHARP Summer Project. So this is really very, very exciting. Here we go. We got the slides just on time, and we got the faculty and the publications. Some of them were directly after the summer. The others were 2 to 3 years later. This is extreme productivity, and this is not in any obscure journals. This is really good journals. Some of them, some of the students got awards and presentations. So without further ado, I think I'm going to just yield the floor to Dr. Samia Khouri, who's representing Dean Sayer, to congratulate you on this wonderful celebration.
Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to be here with you today. This is the fifth year, the fifth certificate ceremony for the Scholars in Health Research. This annual ceremony is a great opportunity to explore the challenges and opportunities that help and improve and advance the healthcare agenda for non-communicable diseases in Lebanon and in the region. Today, it's a privilege for us to be part of a brave and exciting era in biology and medicine. I believe that practical training in health research with a focus on non-communicable diseases goes far beyond the immediate achievements for physicians and healthcare professionals in the field of medicine and aims to monitor, benchmark, and support public and private sector actions to create healthy environment globally. On its own, the SHARP program embodies the innovative thinking that we as a society demand and medical advancement requires. By exploring non-communicable diseases, we can help our nation's scientists and researchers develop treatments and cures to help people who suffer from illnesses and injuries for which they are currently none. Through our AUBMC 2020 vision, we continuously seek to promote academic innovations by creating clinical and research centers of excellence. Today, AUBMC continues to attract many world-class clinical researchers from top international institutions who join our team to work on strategic topics that are expected to have a positive impact on the population. Today's celebration is an attestation of the importance of bridging research and academia while addressing population-oriented and patient-oriented research needs. This is exactly where we stand by continuing to improve on our current knowledge while expanding in the field of medicine. Thank you.
We're going to now ask Dean Whitehead to give us his greetings to the graduates, student representative speech, and then President Khoury. Dean Whitehead.
It's a pleasure to be with you. I've thought of actually 3 points to share with you and over the coming couple of minutes. Point number one, I think 5 years ago, when at the reception of the first cohort of the Sharpies, and that's the name you refer to, yeah. So the first cohort of the SHARP graduates, I remember talking about the fact that this program actually sits at the intersection of two challenges that we face in this region. One is actually the rising burden of non-communicable diseases, and the fact it's actually the major, actually when you look at the burden of disease, non-communicable diseases actually constitute the major part there. And the other actually is the lack of research skills in our region. Put them together, you have a health challenge, a major one, non-communicable and no skills. I would say that this region has not been able actually to respond effectively to this challenge. This program actually sits at that intersection of addressing on one hand a major health challenge in the region, and on the other hand, filling a gap in clinical research and in research in general. So this is actually message number one. The message number two, I'd like you, and I hope this is sort of a personal plea to every single graduate of this program, that the fact that please don't look at this degree and at this certificate as a tool to improve your own and actually strengthen your own CV and the number of your publications. These publications that Dr. Fleihan referred to are publications that should have, and I'm sure we should have, impact on the health of people. We're talking about NCD being a burden. Things got worse actually over the last 5 years. Look at what's happening in the region with war in Syria, and wars in Yemen, war in Iraq. Things are not really stable and getting better as far as we can see, at least for the near future. And actually NCD is becoming actually more of a problem and actually a challenge that is more difficult to study. Humanitarian agencies these days are dealing with issues that they have never dealt with before. Humanitarian agencies and relief agencies usually, when they interfere at times of crisis, they most of the time deal with issues of water and sanitation, infectious diseases, and acute problems. Now you're dealing with displaced population that are staying and staying and staying. And now humanitarian agencies are actually now trying to deal with the non-communicable diseases. What do you do with cancer? What do you do with diabetes? This is not what refugee sort of status and displacement meant to humanitarian agencies. So again, it's something that's important, and I hope you use this certificate and skill to improve the life of such people through your research. And my third point is actually a recognition of Ghada's role as a leader in all of this. I have to tell you that this is one of her dreams. It wasn't easy for her to get it through. I was one of the people who actually gave her a hard time, and sometimes I still do. But the idea, I think, the reason I'm bringing this back is that it's so important to pursue your dreams, and it's so important to fight for them, and it's so important to actually bring evidence to support what you believe in. I think Ghada did that in a superb way, and I think she and her team deserve all the recognition that they're getting. And so congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean Douaihid. Actually, I thank you for bringing NCDs because the slides were going so wrong, we actually had NCD breakdown, and the majority of these publications were NCD, although not all from Lebanon and the region, but I think we're building the data sets to be able to make them available to our trainees to capacity build not only the skills, but actually the research needed. So thank you very much, Dean Douaihid. And I'm going to ask our student representative, Ms. May Mohammed, Dr. May Mohammed, to come and give the student speech. And she did that with the help of our bright trainees. And it's all about purpose, passion, and perseverance. And this is what these guys did. So, May?
Thank you. Dear President Dr. Fadl Al-Khouri, Dr. Samia Al-Khouri, representing Dean Sayer, Dean Douaihid, Dr. Ghada Al-Haj Flayhan, sharp teaching faculty and staff, fellow classmates, and distinguished guests. We are blessed to be the graduates of 2017 SHARP Summer Program. To many of us, SHARP was an extraordinary experience that dramatically affected our understanding and critical analysis. To many of us, scary research terms and complex statistical concepts were broken down into comprehensible chunks. Through this course, what has been vague and dim transformed to be crystal clear. Over the past 7 weeks, we engaged in so many vibrant discussions. The rich nature of this course stems from the exceptional experts who supervised and mentored us. It is an amazing atmosphere where ideas float in the air, thanks to the diversity and the different backgrounds of the team members. The brain-teasing questions and the mind-blowing approaches boosted our confidence and got us more vigilant to details. Over the past 7 weeks, our ability to operate under pressure was tested. We faced ample challenges, but the reward was bigger. Looking back at the days where the heat was at the top, we embrace satisfaction today. Those 7 weeks allowed us to grow at research-based, medical, social, and personal levels. Armed with the empathy and consideration grasped from the ethics course, we are now able to handle research in the most humane way, fortified with valuable information reaped from the biostatistics, epidemiology, and large dataset courses. A new army of well-trained researchers saw the light. In a nutshell, this course was a cocktail of science, ideas, strategies, numbers, plans, and emotions. It is the perfect piece that fits the puzzle of any person involved in healthcare provision. Through SHARP, we are not one, but 1,000 steps ahead in the game. I am certain we can fully implement the skills we gained and the evidence-based healthcare tip we learned. Those precious concepts bring us closer to the envisioned dream, a healthier community. Despite being a relatively short period, solid memories are carved in our minds and hearts. Who would forget about the immense preparations and discussions? Who would forget the various advice and tips? Who would forget the pizza every Friday? A big thank you goes to Dr. Ghada Al-Haj Flayhan, who envisioned this program, brought it to life, and constantly sought ways to enrich it. A big thanks goes to all hardworking mentors and instructors who provided unsolicited feedback and input, who turned this course to the most memorable ones. Last but not least, special thanks to Dr. Marlene Shahtoura and Mrs. Rima Kaddoura for their continuous efforts and support. Finally, a big thanks to our continuous supporters, our parents, family members, and spouses. Finally, a big thanks to our And now, dear Sharpies 2017, congratulations. It's our time now to reap what we sowed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, May. This is really a treat to have had you this year. This really culmination of 5 years have been broadening and raising the bar higher. It's a great honor and pleasure to introduce a longstanding friend, colleague, physician, scientist, our president, President Fadl Khouri, to address you on this 5th year.
So good evening. I'm really delighted to be able to be with you on this occasion where we can celebrate what you've accomplished in the Scholars in Health Education program. And make no mistake about it, you've accomplished a lot with your mentors, and as you indicated, your family supporting you. This is a critical and intensive, I'm sure intensive is a minor description of your experience, 7-week summer course that's going to give you tools that you'll be able to use in biomedical research and capacity building for decades. I can tell you that this is the sort of opportunity that you will look back on in 15, 20, and 30 years and be very glad you did this. These are the kinds of transformative opportunities that universities are supposed to provide and that this particular university was really founded to create. AUB's health footprint is still in evolution. We are involved in the major issue of capacity building in public health in a region where that capacity is really woefully undervalued. I think I saw data from Hudazret today that we have one PhD program in Alexandria in public health in the entire region, and where while schools of medicine have started to proliferate, the number of high-quality schools of medicine is unfortunately rare. So over the last few weeks, we've announced our intent to establish a health sciences complex that will probably get done sometime after I'm in a retirement home. But nonetheless, the mission is to create a hub for capacity building for Lebanon and the Arab world. The idea is to bring together our various schools, our institutes, our strengths and our needs into a large umbrella that will be able to take advantage of individuals like you who have the ability to take us to the next level. As the health researchers of the future, we're looking to today's sharp graduates to play their part in the transformative discovery, innovation, service, and excellence that our vision encompasses. This is a unique summer experience. It's designed, the Sharp Summer Experience, to give you the initial skills, and I was reading this, the skills to acquire essential skills to conduct clinical and translational research, engage a diverse pool of students, and you're certainly diverse from multiple relevant disciplines. We have a PharmD and a nurse and physicians from all over, but most importantly, I would argue, advance the health agenda of non-communicable diseases in the region. This is a region of the world that is undergoing an epidemic in terms of non-communicable diseases. Diabetes in the Arab world is simply staggering. We look at Lebanon today and we're stunned, but most of us would say not surprised that Lebanon has the longest duration of life of any Arab country. And one of the reasons is people have to walk, they have to get out, they have to go and fetch things, whereas in many of our sister and brother nations, people are either stuck struggling with their remote or, far worse, struggling under siege or starvation or far worse conditions. So the skills that you are acquiring are actually vital to the advancement of our society. You're getting skills in basic biostatistics, an ability to search bibliographical, medical, and health-related databases to pluck out what the relevant articles are. You're learning statistical analysis, trial design, ethical clinical conduct, research ethics, and so many other key things. I have to commend you on your accomplishment and wish you every success in your future training, teaching, and practice. As I stand here today, 28 years after I got into the field of medicine, I have to remark that the pursuit of health as a career is part science, part history, part humanism, and really a roadmap for discovery. I know from my experience that every day of this career is worthwhile and exciting and innovative, but never easy. And I'm struck by the words of the only person I know of to win Nobel Prizes in 2 disciplines, Marie Curie. I've been reading more and more of her life and her career, and it reminds me that what she said resonates more so today than ever before when she said, "I was taught that the way of progress was neither swift nor easy." So my charge to you is to enjoy the voyage. It's a long and a hard one, and it can be windy. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of my own path and some of the bizarre turns I took. I met Dr. Al-Hajj Fleihan in the most unusual of circumstances as I emerged from the OR after her husband had removed nodes from my neck. I was very happy to see her and my late father, and more importantly, my surgeon, reassure me that no, I had probably eaten raw meat. I'd intended to be a physician scientist, building mouse models for cancer, but when someone noticed that the gene that we were trying to knock out and knock in beat us to the punch and published that the phenotype was a normal, healthy mouse, our project kind of crashed. I think Samia can relate in relevance. And when I told my lab mentor that I thought we should switch to trying to knock out P53, which was the most common and remains the most common change in cancer, he laughed at me and said, "I'm losing both my R01s, and you want to compete with Bert Vogelstein and David Lane, the 2 most funded people in cancer." Well, I changed labs, and 6 years later, we published the first clinical trial that successfully targeted P53 with an oncolytic virus. And I was much more of a clinical investigator. My point there is not to say that anything I did is or is not relevant, but that your path will take many twists and turns. I'm sure Dr. Sabai and Dr. Hajj Fleihan and Dean Wahid and Associate Dean Sami Al-Khouri can relate. Don't be upset about those twists and turns. The voyage is an incredible one. You started with a set of tools that most people don't have. You are armed to make a big difference in the most positive way in this part of the world. I want to congratulate you for your willingness to stretch yourselves and applaud your willingness to do this for the rest of your career. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Khouri. Thank you, Dean Wahid. Thank you, Associate Dean Samia Khouri. I'd like the 3 of you with Dr. Sabai to come to the podium to give the certificates to our Sharpies 217. We will then cut the cake and then enjoy some soft drinks and mingle. So tfaddalu. So we have 21 trainees who are graduating with these wonderful skills. 18 of them are here, and we're going to go through that. Our first graduate summer trainee is Nathalie Farouk Al-Arab. لؤي يحيى الرجلة عامر ريان بشناك Étoile Pierre Bourad. Marguerite Saman El Asmar. Hannibal Antoine Fadoul. Anthony George Ghanem. Taline Manuel Gulgulian. مصطفى عادل حطيط. نسرين عماد كوا. داليا رهيف خليفة. محمد أحمد منعم. مي أمجد محمد. رشا نواف رسلان. نما بسمة أسامة رستم. سامي كمال شيا. حسين محمد طالب. إبراهيم جورج سولاكيان. ألف مبروك. Thank you very much everybody for being with us to celebrate. We're going to cut a 5-year celebration cake. We didn't do that every year, but I think 5 years is worth it, so it's coming in. And if the graduates will come behind us to cut with us.